The risks of using legacy data in mineral resource estimation, the South African context. Welcome to Mineral Projects Intel, where we dig deeper into the world of mineral projects, where we unpack the complex world of mineral projects investment, and where we make sense of the science, strategy, and sometimes the jargon behind it all. If you've ever wondered whether using old historical drilling data to inform your mineral resource estimates, you're in the right place. In this video, we will discuss the South African context regarding using legacy data for which, given the current favorable gold price, old disused gold mines are being revisited on the back of old data. By the end, you'll understand how to treat historical data and its effect on mineral resource estimation. South Africa has one of the richest mining histories in the world, with more than a century of intensive exploration, underground mining, and resource development across gold, platinum, base metals, coal, and chrome. As a result, many modern mineral resource estimates in South Africa rely heavily on legacy data, drill holes, underground sampling, historical assay records, and old mine plans generated decades ago, often during active mining in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. On the surface, this seems like an advantage: large data sets, extensive underground exposure, and long production histories. But in reality, this legacy data introduces a unique set of risks that must be carefully managed. Much of South Africa's historical mining data was collected under older geological sampling and QA/QC standards that predate modern reporting codes such as SAMREC and JORC. Documentation is often incomplete, original assay certificates may be missing, survey control may be uncertain, and drilling methods were not always designed for modern geostatistical modeling. In many cases, data was collected for short-term grade control or production support, not for long-term resource estimation. This creates a fundamental mismatch between the purpose of the data and how it is now being used. Another important South African factor is the age and condition of historical workings. Many legacy data sets come from deep-level underground mines that are now inaccessible due to flooding, collapse, safety concerns, or closure. In fact, did you know that the deepest mine in the world is a South African gold mine called Mponeng, which is a whopping 4 kilometers deep? So because these historical mines are deep level and inaccessible due to the mentioned flooding, caving, and safety concerns, this means that critical validation work, such as resampling, twin drilling, or reconciliation against production statistics, may be impossible or prohibitively expensive. Without the ability to verify the data, uncertainty increases significantly, even if the data set appears large. There is also a strong economic and regulatory pressure in South Africa to re-evaluate old mines and historical resources. Rising commodity prices, brownfields redevelopment, and the search for new value in previously mined areas have pushed companies to resurrect historical estimates. However, investors and regulators now expect full transparency around data quality, uncertainty, and confidence. Projects that rely heavily on unverified legacy data face heightened scrutiny, particularly when trying to convert historical resources into compliant mineral resources or reserves. So the question currently is this: the gold price is favorable. Is it wise to revisit old disused mines on the back of old data? Great question indeed. With the gold price at favorable levels, it's tempting to revisit old, disused mines and assume that higher prices alone can unlock value. In South Africa especially, many gold mines were closed not because the ore ran out, but because depth, costs, or technology at the time made continued mining uneconomic. A strong gold price can absolutely justify taking a second look, but it does not automatically make historical data reliable. The key risk is that most legacy data was collected for short-term production, not for modern mineral resource estimation. Sampling methods, assay techniques, survey control, and QA/QC standards used decades ago often fall short of today's SAMREC or JORC requirements. Large datasets can give a false sense of confidence, especially when original certificates are missing, sampling is biased, or locations cannot be verified. Verification is often the biggest challenge. Many old workings are now inaccessible due to flooding, collapse, or safety constraints, making it difficult or impossible to confirm historical grades and widths. Without twin drilling, resampling, or reconciliation, uncertainty remains high, no matter how much data exists. As a result, resources based largely on legacy data should be treated as low confidence. For investors, historical data is still useful, but mainly as a targeting and screening tool, not a foundation for a bankable project. The right approach is to use old data to guide new drilling and validation, while applying conservative assumptions until modern, verifiable data replaces it. In short, a high gold price makes old mines interesting again, but only disciplined validation turns historical potential into investable reality. In following videos, we'll unpack the specific risks associated with using legacy data in mineral resource estimation, why data quantity does not equal data quality, how historical practices can bias modern models, and what geologists must do to responsibly validate, classify, and report resources derived from legacy information. Understanding these risks is essential, especially in mature mining jurisdictions like South Africa, where the past strongly shapes today's resource models. If you found this useful, like, subscribe, and share for more mining insights. Because in the resource world, knowledge isn't just power, it's value. Thanks for watching.